Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. Also follow me on Instagram at the same profile name so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next. In this video, it's Ready to Love DC episode 11 entitled A Reason, a Season, or Lifetime. I give a full episode recap with photos offset to the side, and then I give my review at the end. No need to dig around. I have all of the minute marks in the comments. It's all coming up next. And before we begin, Happy New Year! It's back in DC with Tommy, and the journey has indeed been interesting. This week isn't any easier. The ladies will introduce their picks to their family. Lean on your family for guidance because we all know that your family wants what's best. Sidney meets up with her mom and stepdad to meet Phil. Sidney explains the fast process of meeting and dating men, but two of them she had a connection with the most. Sidney's parents are surely ready to ask any and every question and address any concerns they may have. Phil is ready to meet with her family, and he says to production that it's an important decision and he has to make it. At the retreat, he spent majority of his time with Shiloh, and her choosing him so fast kind of threw him off. He needs to stick with the process and make sure that he analyzes everything thoroughly. Meeting someone's family and feeling their energy will surely help someone make a final decision. He brought flowers not only for Sidney and her mother, and brought a distinguished drink for her stepdad. Sidney's mom gushes over the flowers but makes it plain to Phil that if you're a player, go ahead and play on, because she's very protective of her daughter. This brings Sidney to brief tears because she thinks about previous heartbreak. As the meeting comes to a close later on, Sidney's mom likes Phil. Sidney makes a production clip that she's glad the meeting went very well, but she also has feelings for Frank. Aisha has the opportunity to bring her mom and brother from New York to have a sit down with Donta. Aisha admits to production that it does seem sort of odd and anxious, but her family hasn't seen her with anyone else besides her ex-husband. So if she's bringing someone around them to meet, then things must be pretty serious. Donta is excited yet nervous. He brought flowers for Aisha's mom. Aisha's brother gets straight to it. He's cordial and nice, but he wants to get to the elephant in the room. You have 3 children with 3 different women. What's the relationship dynamic between the baby's mothers? Donta confirms that it's all cordial and the communication is healthy amongst him and the women. 2 of the 3 of the women are married. The mom wants to know, is your relationship with Aisha for a reason, a season, or a lifetime? Donta thinks for a lifetime, and it's not moving too fast because everything feels right. After a nice dinner and brief conversation, Donta bids the family well and looks forward to seeing everyone again. Aisha's family likes Donta and feels that his intentions and energy is genuine. Mumen sits down with her father, uncle, and older sister in order to have a meeting with Frank. Mumen reports that Frank is from Ghana, but her dad had hoped from someone from Cameroon. They share a quick laugh, but her dad only wants the best for her. Mumen says to production that she hopes her dad isn't getting too anxious for a wedding. Frank arrives and knows the meeting with African parents, especially dads, are tough. The family learns that Frank is the first one in his family to be born in America. He also takes a moment to be honest and transparent. There's another woman that he's considering during this process. Her dad begins to be a little bit more stern and making sure that he's not wasting his daughter's time. But Frank settles the concerns, letting him know that he wants to be fair and considerate of everyone's time. Frank says to production that they do have a passion and a cultural connection, but the process must continue. When Frank leaves, Mumen's sister has some reservations. Why isn't Mumen his first choice? But her uncle and father clarify again that Frank was honest in saying that he's going through a process. If he said that Mumen was his only consideration, that would be dishonest. Overall, Mumen has no clue how things will go. She's anxious for Frank's decision. Shiloh has a production clip that her and Phil had an argument that happened the night before that got out of hand. She meets with Tommy to discuss everything. Phil then later arrives, and now it's time to talk. She explains that it started off at a bar where they began to discuss Phil's final decision, and from there, things got out of control. Shiloh was demanding an answer. Tommy wants to know, well, why are we here? Shiloh further explains that while they were at the retreat, she made it plain about their connection and how she felt, and also about moving forward. Phil gave a response which was a kiss, and at the time she concluded that that was a physical response she was content with. On the way home, she thought to herself, wait, that really wasn't quite clear in his response. On their meetup at the bar, the question came up again about Phil's decision. His response was just relax, trust me, I'm going through the process, I got you. At this point, the I got you response didn't give Shiloh clarification. As the bar began to close and people began to leave, their conversation began to change with raised voices and tones. Shiloh continues to demand a direct answer. Tommy wants to know, was there any drinking involved? And they both agreed that yes, but he says that he only had one shot. Shiloh says that she thinks that it started to get crazy when she started to walk away just to get some space from the situation. But Phil picked her up, not allowing her to leave. Shiloh says to production that the situation triggered her of a previous past experience with someone physically trying to take control of her. Tommy says that you picked her up when she wanted space, correct? Phil says yes, it was very late, like 4 or 5 in the morning. Tommy is shocked and saying, wow, you guys were out late. I wish you guys would have just been at home. Phil continues and says that yes, we should have just stayed at home and something was telling me not to go out. But his intention was just to point Shiloh in the right direction, to get her in the car and to go home. He makes a production clip that it was dark and it was late. Tommy says that I understand the story from both sides. As a man, I'm trying to make sure that you get home okay. And as a woman, you can understand that she's upset and wanting her space to cool off. That conversation you all had was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Now look at one another because you haven't done so since you've sat here. Do you still think that you could work things out? Do you still like each other? Do you want to move forward or walk away? You both are here and you got some thinking to do. A conversation needs to happen. Phil says to production that he's upset because now his character is being attacked. Shiloh says to production that Tommy is suggesting mending things, but I don't think that's likely. Sidney brings her sister Sarah to meet Frank. Sidney feels that there's a connection with Frank, but maybe he just has a warm personality with everyone. Her sister notices that Sidney's behavior seems to be more reserved, and that's not her personality. Sidney wants Sarah to give him any deep kind of questions just to kind of dig into Frank a little bit more. Frank makes a production clip that they definitely have physical attraction. He loves that she's built nice like a model and wants to get more information so he can make a final decision. The friend goes straight in after the meet and greet and wants to ask important questions. Does he want to be married? Does he want kids? And Frank says yes, he's always wanted both. The next question, are you dating other women? He clarifies that yes, there is one other woman and there is a process in order for him to make a final decision. He then turns to Sidney and says that he has some information and he's getting to know Mumen as well. And no matter what happens, he wants to keep getting to know her. And that answer doesn't sit well with her sister or Sidney. As the meet and greet comes to a close, Frank makes a production note that they're too much alike. It's like she's the female version of him, and maybe that's not a good idea to have a second him. Sarah feels that their vibes are more friendship-like and maybe not necessarily a love or relationship connection. The ladies meet with Tommy in a new lounge location, and Aisha says to production that she's on cloud 9 and she had a wonderful time with Donta, but Shiloh doesn't have the best energy after everything that happened the other night. Sabrina reports that meeting with her cousin, she likes Walter and everything seems cool when it comes to vibes. Mumen's family likes Frank and the cultural connection. They're digging Frank. Aisha discusses the meeting that Donta had with her mother and her brother, and Donta confirms that a lifetime intention is with her. Sidney recaps the meet and greet dates with Phil and Frank. Phil set the energy with flowers to her mom and gift to her stepdad. Although with Frank, the concern is determining if it's friend vibes or companionship. She doesn't want to tell her decision just yet about what her sister recommended. Time will tell. Shiloh says to production that I'm hearing everyone else's moments and meetings with family, and it's unfortunate that she didn't get the chance to have that with Phil. It's very saddened. After the incident, Shiloh made a decision not to have Phil meet her family anymore, and the ladies are shocked and confused. Tommy gives Shiloh a chance to have the floor and explain in more detail about what happened between her and Phil. She does clarify that she believes that he wasn't trying to harm her, that she wasn't in fear of her life. She just didn't like the fact that physically he took control and that it made her feel uncomfortable. Tommy applauds her honesty in clarifying what happened. Sidney confirms that she hasn't had any experiences like that with Phil and apologizes that she even experienced something like that made her feel so uncomfortable. Sidney says to production that she's shocked that someone is reporting different behavior about Phil and asks Shiloh, is it okay if I have a conversation with Phil about the situation? Shiloh says it's okay with her. Shiloh doesn't know how to potentially move forward with Phil. Phil did mention that he wanted to have a conversation with her for closure. Tommy agrees that that's fair and just wants Shiloh to be happy. Tommy says to everyone that you're on a journey for love and you always have to go with your gut. Have no doubts that what you're feeling is true. There's no eliminations today. Plus, he wants Shiloh and Phil to have a final conversation. Phil says to production that walking into the meeting with Shiloh, I feel that as a man, I do need to apologize for not calming down the situation and letting things get out of control. Shiloh does let him know that she didn't answer any of his calls because she wasn't ready to speak. She's hurt and sad that she was in an open area and didn't feel that she had the power to leave. She tells him very sternly that he doesn't know what she's been through in her life in order for her to say, "Don't touch me." Phil says very calmly that he wouldn't have done anything if he didn't feel that it wasn't in her best interest. And Shiloh says that she knows what's best for her. Phil takes a pause in order to say calmly that he made a judgment call. You being angry from me picking you up is reversible. The alternative of something happening to you isn't. I'm thinking that you would have continued to go down that alley that not even me as a grown man would have walked down. If something would have happened to you, who would that blame be on? I'm not trying to make anything or take away from your pain or your experience or even discredit how you feel. I'm just trying to tell you why I did what I did. Shiloh says that she doesn't want to hear anything else from him or any of his excuses. And Phil asks that, do you really feel I was trying to hurt or harm you? Shiloh says, well, yes, emotionally, yes. Phil says to production that he's shocked that she would say such a thing. He's hurt. I mean, how do you respond to that? Shiloh tells Phil that even though what happened may have had a true intention of concern, but it was just hard to move forward from what happened, and she's still processing. Phil apologizes and then says to production that he's very confused. He's always had feelings for her still, but like this situation, they're not a good match at all. It's all disappointing. Shiloh takes a moment at another time to speak with Tommy again. She feels that Phil was being defensive when he asked her if she really felt that she was trying to hurt her. And Tommy says, well, yeah, you did mention that you felt he wasn't trying to hurt or harm you, correct? She says, yeah, that's what I said. I didn't think that physically he was trying to, but I thought he was emotionally. She didn't want to go down the road again in her life in that same journey, and this ready to love journey must come to an end. Tommy wishes her well and understands her decision and wants only the best for her. And that is the end of the episode. And now it is time for your favorite part of the video. That's right, my review. Once again, Happy New Year. I hope that whatever goals and things that you're trying to do this year, you will not only just manifest them, but you will actually do them. You will move and cause action and things to happen. So let's just get right into this. If you've been following my recaps and my reviews, you know that I called this behavior out early in the season. It was like watching a slow car wreck. Certain behaviors, certain tones, certain things that were being said with a lot of the women. And you were probably nodding your head like, Bunny did say that. Yep, Bunny did say this. Okay, so let's talk about Shiloh, you guys. So Shiloh is in touch, like I've been saying this whole time, with the physical, but not the self-awareness, self-true love aspect. Toxicity when it comes to not being able to have control or awareness of certain triggers, right? And then when you're adding alcohol to the mix, I can guess that it was a swaying factor. Now, if you guys have watched Iyanla Fix My Life or any of her sessions, you will know that she describes what we saw in this episode as, well, not actually seeing the event, but the conversation or the argument that happened. What Shiloh did, unfortunately, is what's called holding someone emotionally hostage, right? He emotionally, if you look at his body language, he was emotionally exhausted and held hostage in that situation. Shiloh's emotions demanding a different response from him places him in a very frightening situation. Okay, so let's look at both situations. They're leaving the bar, the volume's getting louder, there's some words exchanged, whatever happened. Let's just say, from the story depicted from both, they didn't say, oh, no, that didn't happen. They agreed on everything. She might have been intoxicated, might have not. We don't know. She's angry. Then she starts to walk away. Phil in his eyes saying, hey, we got to get you in a comfortable spot. I need you to get back to your car. She's walking down this alley that looks really dangerous. It's like even he said he wouldn't walk down this aisle, and it's the behavior and so much that he picks her up and wants to take her back to the car. Okay, this is a situation where you're holding somebody emotionally hostage. They don't know who you are as a person. They're afraid for you. They're afraid for themselves. They're doing any and everything that they can using that judgment to help you get where you're trying to go. It doesn't know if you're going to blow up. We don't know the level of anger that you're showing. You're holding somebody emotionally just at this hostage of, what am I supposed to do? That's got to be a very frightening situation. Phil handled the aftermath very well. Okay, not saying that he's right. I'm not taking anybody's side. I'm analyzing and judging what we've heard on the show. Okay, what they sat down and they both agreed and they were telling Tommy. Okay, so with Shiloh, I remember she made a comment saying, well, you could have followed me to my car, and it was a red flag right there again, because it's just like, okay, how am I supposed to know how you want me to react or how to feel when you're so angry? And at this time, I'm thinking about your safety. It's this emotional hostage situation. Also, when she was describing the situation to Tommy and they were all sitting down, Phil is doing any and everything that he can to stay calm. You can tell once again he's emotionally hostage, right? On, wow, I was just trying to help her and she's so angry and upset. Here's a lot of things if you've taken any psychology classes, especially when it comes to body language, okay? And when they were describing the situation, Phil is remaining calm. He's trying to have a legitimate conversation. He's trying to understand everything. And Shiloh has this rage of a look. She's very upset. That deep gut feeling is something that's deep within that she needs to psychologically conquer with a professional. Because if that is something that's so deep rooted in you that you're looking at the person and you're reflecting that rage to feel, there's something else going on. I did point that out in a previous review, you guys, when I said that Shiloh is ignoring the truth when it comes to what she learns about Phil. You could tell that she's deeper emotionally invested in Phil, and Phil's giving her answers, which seems to be like, I really don't want to hurt her feelings. Don't worry, I got you. We'll talk about it. I'm making my decision. He's giving you answers, Shiloh. It's just not the answers you want. When you were at the retreat and he's not giving you the answers that you wanted, he's not communicating like you want him to communicate. The ex-girlfriend of Phil did say, one thing I would probably change to be more, he would communicate more. He would be more open. Why did you think that would be something that would magically change just because he's getting to know you? You have to understand that somebody's personality may not match or may not be cohesive to maybe what you want out of a person or what you want that person to be. What happened in this situation, it was a bubble over of previous experiences, triggers, and things that bothered her. And then the frustration of not having the communication that you wanted with Phil, and it bubbled over. And when you guys had the argument, and then maybe when there was the mingle in with alcohol, it made things worse. It was just very, very cringy for me to watch, because Shiloh in her body language would show this anger that was just really deep rooted. Her face let a lot out, and it was just like, ooh, I don't know what's going on in your life, but you've got to figure out what is that deep within you that's making you feel that way. And it was just very frightening for me to see, because Phil's just like, I made a judgment call. And even as he's sitting there, you see the fright and the emotional hostage feeling again. This person across from me is so angry and so sad, and they're saying they're disappointing, and I thought I was just trying to help you out and be safe. And it's just, and then when he says, well, I'm sorry, and I did, and he's at this point feeling like, I don't know what to do at this point. That is when she smiles. That's when the smile comes over her face. Like, it's just kind of like this satisfaction and, just adding it on to it, like, oh, he feels bad. Okay, great. With Aisha and Donta, I did mention, it would make sense for them to get together. They have the right lifestyle and passion, but is it convenience, you guys? I'm hoping that it's real connection. I'm hoping that it's real love. I'm hoping that they really feel something, and it's not just, I got kids, he got kids. Okay, let's just start it out. It's kind of like, is it? I hope it's the right intentions. Hope they have a nice Brady Bunch, kind of mixture there, and that they're happy. I'll just hope they're just not just throwing something together. Now, we talk about Sabrina and Walter. I've said forever that the same thing with Cornelius and your girl is the same situation. Camille is the same situation with Sabrina and Walter, which is, I do believe that Sabrina and Camille are their beards. If you don't know what a beard is, ask your devos what it is, okay? I honestly believe in that situation. Walter wants Sabrina to be his beard. He's just giving me very interview vibes. He's giving all of the answers that he thinks that's, what's expected for him to answer. In my mind, it really kind of felt like Walter just wants to win. Doesn't matter with whom, just that he's there and he wants to come back not empty-handed. He kind of seems like he has this vibe. I'm with a lot of people, and, maybe I'm tired of being with a lot of people, and I just need like a main beard. I don't know. Frank, I do believe Frank and Walter and Phil still want to play around. I don't think they're ready for anything serious just yet, which is cool. That's why I said they should just name this show Ready to Date Again, ready to get back into dating again. Ready to have fun again, because that's what these couples should do. They should just date, pick who they would like to date frequently. I've said this over and over again, and then that person is who they select, or 2 or 3 people that they would continue to date. Okay, and after a period of time, we do like a going back, kind of what happened to this couple, and see if things hit it off. I've said it over and over again. Mumen, I talked about this in my last review, how Sabrina, Camille, Mumen, I'm starting like the DMX song. I'm starting to sound like that song. But how they're basically, they all have this very toxic, just manipulative behavior. If you didn't catch my review on that, and people in the psychology behind their behaviors. Watch out for that. Now, Sabrina did see the red flag and said, I think I'm just the default. But she's shown that aggressiveness with Frank. And I wonder if Frank communicated that with Walter. Just make sure you check out my last review where I put all the receipts and their behaviors. I talked about Zadia and her anger. I called that all super early, you guys. And it's just very, very sad to just see everything kind of come into this little nice toxic bow at the end, just tied up and just kind of terrible. Phil and Sidney, I do believe that there really it was something there. It just hadn't reached the depth in what they both knew. I think Phil was really interested in her and getting to know her deeper, but just didn't know how. And Sidney was just really, really passionate about finding out what that was. Maybe just a little, just too hard. It's sad to see, but like I said, it was just all of this was coming. If you've been watching the reviews, I knew it was coming. And it's unfortunate that there have been some inconveniences there. With Frank and Mumen, what really trips me out is that they all of a sudden, are falling deeper into interest into one another. But, it is a cherry on the top to have not only the cultural understanding, but, I get it. You have the cultural understanding, you have the connection, the understanding of family, all of these things that are just great that they're clicking on. But it's just kind of like odd to me because we know Mumen had a situation with Walter and we saw how she behaved when Walter didn't put all of the attention on her. And it's just a matter of time. I said same situation when Frank was encountering Sabrina and her aggressiveness, right? And her passive aggressiveness and talking about him. But it's just like, I wonder if Frank has gotten a taste of that. Or how he'll react when he sees her behavior at the reunion, because it's just another deck of cards. She was all up on Walter, and now it's just like, now that Walter's not an option, now she's just so gung-ho about Frank. I don't know. This season they are really stretching this season, you guys. We're on episode 11. Why is it that many episodes? It should have been just like 6, okay, if that, okay. And then we're talking about then they're gonna split the reunion probably in 9 parts. If they don't hear him in this season, I don't know what is going on. I don't know why they keep stretching it. I mean, I'm talking about excluding the holiday. They were just really pulling and stretching this. Anywho, let me know what you think. Make sure to stay tuned for Queens. Tomorrow we have the next episode. A lot of the mysteries are going to be revealed. We're almost to the end of the season when it comes to Queens. We also have an announcement of more things to come on this channel for 2022. Let me know what you think. Put your comments down below. Like this video. Check out the pinned comment of suggested series, other shows. And if the comment section is turned off, make sure that you refresh and come back, because YouTube has this process now of reviewing comments. So if it says that no comments are allowed, that's not me. That's the system. That's YouTube. They tried this new process where they review comments, all this other stuff. So make sure that you come back and you put in your 2 cents, because I want to know what you think. In the meantime, in between time, take care of yourself and each other. Happy New Year. Bye.